You shouldn't have any trouble digesting our food. I just hope your brain's quicker than your hands. Someone made a note that you're oblivious to flirtation. Look at that! A real scientist! Can you really compete with a Spacer's Choice frozen dinner? Looks to be your lucky day, my friend.
Please power down your engines. Prepare to be...
Not likely, bootlickers. Initiate skip jump.
Status. Structural integrity down 25%. Power levels down 10%. His drive is
Shit.
inoperable.
Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? A bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or take. Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck!
Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry. I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you. Hawthorne should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste. Hawthorne won't mind you taking his ship. Better you than the board, huh? Not sure I trusted the fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head. Shame about the whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go. Steady now. You've been frozen for a while. There's bound to be unforeseen side effects.
Hey, you, come here. You've tried the best now. Now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Oh, wow, that stings. Looks like the bleeding stopped. I owe you one. Hope you don't mind me omitting this little exchange for my report. Spacer's choice doesn't like us accepting outside help. We were out on patrol. I saw a marauder camp up in the hills. Thought I could take him. Then my gun misfired. Right through my side. I mean, what are the odds of that, right? Just barely scraped by with my life. Crawled in here and blocked off the exit with those canisters. Gibbering, flesh-eating, law-breaking, unemployed lunatics with guns. Some hullhead grounded their spacecraft out in the open. That's a real good way to attract marauders. See those canisters by the entrance? Marauders come sniffing around in here, and I can take them all out with a single shot. Not bad, huh? You'd better take my gun then. Careful. It's worth more to the company than I am. Here, you can have my saber too, for patching me up and all. All Spacer's choice weapons are now 30% less likely to malfunction. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Yes, nailed it that time. You hit your head or something? You're in Emerald Vale. We're a Spacer's choice community. Edgewater's a little ways down. Prettiest place in the Vale. Be sure to stop by a provisioner's for a can of our famous salt tuna. The Hope? Is that some sort of fancy new drug? Are you with Auntie Cleo or something? Don't take this the wrong way or nothing, but I'm not allowed to fraternize with Cleo workers. Company policy.
じゃあな。缶詰じゃない？これ。もらっていい？ありがとう。
すげえ格闘で戦う人初めて。
おお、ああ、なるほど。これが格闘になる。大反対
やめろそれ。
拾うの難しいな。
でもさ、マジでさ、主人公やべえよな。だってさ、学校でさ、いじめられてさ、家に帰ったら兄に首絞められたりするじゃん。やべえ。右だな。そうマールのすぐ
すげえな。何これ。あ、これがピックアイテムか。ヘアピンみたいなもんか。コーデックス。動画から。あ、すげえ。なんか拾えるものはないかな。
Thanks for...
パンツのやつは笑ったけどマジで。直巻きだよ。
すごい。
さ一般的な人が
おお。
何言ってんだで面白い。もしかしたらさ、なんだろう、本当になんだろう。
お、かわいそう。おお、なんだろう。なんかね。おお、マギちゃんの UR 当たった。神か。
全部持ってないからな。なんていうかさ、世界線やばいよな。一番初めにびっくりしたのは急に殺されることだった。
なるほど。なんか拾えるものとかあるんですか。おお、すげえ。ああ、爆発するとは思わなかった。おお、ダメージ食らうとあれなんだ。止まっちゃうんだ。難しい。なんか難しい。両手武器はあんまり強くないからここでいいや。あ、なるほど。
世界がそういう世界。強制的
だ。
にやめろ。なんかいろいろマジで。
銃は良くない。え、お前何も持ってねえの。あれ、こせえ。体力自体で回復してんな。相手か。
What in the blazes?
チーズ。
Where'd you come from?
Talk to the lieutenant. She's certified in customer service.
Don't know where you came from, stranger, but you best keep your head down. There's marauders hereabouts, and worse, landing violators. Gall on that rung leech. Landing in the Vale without using an official Spacer's Choice landing pad. I'd slap him with a fine if it weren't for all these marauders shambling about. Really? How is he? Shouldn't have done that. Spacer's Choice family ain't authorized to receive medical aid from off-brand physicians. We'll see him back to Edgewater, just as soon as I cross these marauders off with the swift, cost-efficient fury that's made Spacer's Choice the most trusted brand in personal defense. I just, you know, need a couple of winks to catch my breath. Stretch my legs, son.
あー、騙しなかなかいいな。騙しなかなかいいなこれ。
You think? Most marauders can't even talk. But criminals do attract other criminals by their own nature. You know what? You're right. It's time we cross those marauders off, find whoever owns that ship, and file a full report. Then it's gonna be fucking laminated.
Here we go.
いや、めっちゃやるじゃん。頑張ってくれたまえ。回収は任しとけって。別マップ。
Please be informed that this vessel contains no valuable plunder. Marauder, please be informed that ignoring me is dangerous for your health.
なんすか。制御装置か。何こっち見てもいいかな。
All doors are on security lockdown. Nice try, Marauder. Marauder, please be informed the ship has no crew for you to murder.
そうなんだ。
やば。
Smile for my surveillance device, Marauder. I am tracking your every move.
うわっ。
Please be advised that using the respecification machine will not make you a better person.
やば。
Intruders are not authorized to access the Unreliable's amenities, including the cargo hold's workbench.
これが作業台か。音いいな。めっちゃいいな。寝れるんだ。寝て体力回復できるな。
Marauder, please be informed that the engine room contains nothing of value.
なるほど。これ全部か。何？なるほど。暴力。ステーサーかなか。これはジャンクにして。
げえ。それだけ頑丈に貼られてたら痛いね。
めっちゃ
びっくりする。あ、チャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。
Unauthorized access of spacefaring vessels is a crime. Please. Hello, Marauder. I am Ada, the autonomous digital astrogator of this vessel. Please be informed that I am authorized to use violent retribution against unwanted solicitors. Please return any misappropriated equipment and exit this vessel in an orderly fashion. Failure to do so will result in your immediate destruction. I have been programmed to communicate with diplomacy and tact. Please allow me to demonstrate. Jettison procedures initiated. Please engage in airlocks. Prepare to reject all boarding parties in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
見てこれ CM
やば。
入れすぎだろこいつ。
それはいい。
どんだけ入れてんだよ。入れすぎだろ。まとまりすぎだろ。テレテレテレテレって綺麗になっちゃってるし。
My deception protocols have failed. I have been programmed to express disappointment. This vessel is the registered property of Captain Alex Hawthorne. I am incapable of accepting orders from anyone other than Captain Alex Hawthorne. I deduce from the tone of your voice that Captain Hawthorne failed to meet you at the designated location. I understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand? I understand. You are speaking metaphorically. You wandered outside this ship and experienced a permanent, life-changing encounter. The old you is dead. Welcome back, Captain Hawthorne. I extend felicitations and congratulations on your life-changing experience. I understand. You are going undercover with an alias. I will update my discretion protocol accordingly. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be replaced. Astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new Captain's Identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand? Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation. Best of luck in your search for a power regulator. Try to stay alive this time.
あ、で、
か当たらないんですか？
パサン出てきちゃった。
そうです。
え、なにこれ。
言うて完全に当たらないってわけじゃないから。当たるもん。遠くの距離だって当たるもん。変装できるもん。完全に当たらないんだったらこの動画見に行ってね。多分リングも当たらなかったら俺エーペックスやめてる。毎回ウィングマンで見たのクソ武器じゃねえかって。
ああ、これめっちゃ欲しい。
でもさ、ウィングマン考えてみたら火力っていうかそもそもあのダメージさ、なんていうんだろう。あとさ、オーバーキルじゃん、ダメージするべきに。
うん。
ダメージ稼げるんだ。128だっけ大体。
そうだ。うん、そうそう。
128を2回やるわけでしょ、ダウン中にもやるわけ。なんか珍しいね、ロングガンっていう言葉って
ね。
珍しいね。
いやー、
いつ行くの？
いつでもいいよ。
お腹空いた？ゲームやりたいでしょ。
とりあえずこれロングガンだ。ロングガン。アサルトライフルとね、ショットガンがね、ロングガンになってる。
アサルトライフルとショットガン。
これがショットガン。
新しい武器。
アサルトライ
ロング
フル。たまんねえし。
These surveillance devices allow me to monitor you constantly. Please ignore
こ
them.
れ普通のハンドガンだから。
Say, this wouldn't happen to be your ship, would it? Because you sure walked in it like it was your ship. And if this ship is yours, well, mister, you owe Spacer's Choice a hefty fine. Afraid we gotta dock your pay. Yeah, fair point. I'll let it go this time. If you're looking to help us out with our marauder problem, talk to Constable Reyes over in Edgewater. Edgewater's not too far. Just follow the road east of here, over past the cemetery. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to inspect the crime scene before I make my report.
じゃあな。スライディングとかないんだ。
みたいなの今からハンマー取るから最速でハンマー取るから俺がハンマー取るって言った時からここで取れる
You hiding?
トレーニング
おー、ショットガン。
正直さ、なんかハンマー取れやすそう
なんでもいいよ。
じゃあ俺ミラージュ
一緒に育ってる。
でもさ、ライフラインで撮ってる人めっちゃうまいなと思う。
あ
ドローン出したら自分のそこのところから動かないとさ、ずっと撃ってたよ。
ああ
夢だ。
上にも行ける。ああすげえな。敵ある。敵じゃないか。
あれ、感度マックスでなんか星打ちできないんだよ。逆に。狙って撃つのは強いけど、星強いんだよ。俺、この申請したいんだけどな、俺だけど。
Whoa, hey, where'd you come from?
あチーズ。
Running around in a marauder's attire. You're liable to give some people the wrong idea. It's in poor taste. Dressing up like a marauder's disrespectful to all the workers that got eaten by him. Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls. And low prices. Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family. Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer?
フリーランサーって聞くと安静な
Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites. We rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see? Company policy. If it was up to me, I'd put the whole town 10 feet under, free of charge. 4 workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little. Conrad's got a barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad. He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up. Yeah? Former people, yeah. Marauder's been raiding my graves, you see. Hence the armed guards. Couldn't tell you. No, I mean, I'm contractually prohibited from saying anything that might reflect poorly on Spacer's Choice. Ah, avoid it. Shouldn't have said that either. Look, forget I said anything. Well, if you're gonna go headhunting, talk to Constable Reyes back in town. She pays for marauders by the finger. Oh no. They are after the most precious loot of all. Spacer's Choice Company property. If those marauders swipe any more bodies out of my cemetery, company's gonna duck my pay. Hang on, I'm doing some math in my head. 20, 30, carry the 1... all my life? Work's been real good to me. Fresh air, exercise. Only problem's the paperwork. Can't get anybody to pay their gravesite fees. You could look at it that way, I suppose. You could look at us and say, those Edgewater saps lost near every soul to plague. But you'd be wrong. We're survivors. Loyal company folk, brave in the wilds. Every now and again, a virulent plague sweeps through our town. That's life on the frontier, I suppose. A body grows accustomed.
Jeez.
Huh? What? I wasn't looking up.
似てんじゃん。これ設定でヘルメットを表情オフにしとくか。おお、上げちゃっていいんだ。これ金も誰？頑張れ。盗むとこれバレんのかな。フールアウトみたいにスミートが出ねえからわかんねえや。あ、なんかすげえフールアウトみたい。フールアウトの盗んでバレなければ大丈夫なのかな。ちょっと盗んでみるか。いいね。お、いいね。新入会ピンピン君がハッキング撮影されていこう。なるほど。バレなければってやつだな。この人たちの前って言ったらバレんのかな。
What?
バレなければバンジー OK か。よし。
ってそっちにアイテム取りに行ったんだ。修正が使えないのかわからないのか。そんなにもいるのは。言い遅れんだったらもっと待て。
Spacer's choice. Keep your distance, friend. Sick house is no place for a traveler.
I appreciate the company and all, but you really ought to leave. You don't want to be seen around me. Because I'm sick. You don't want to associate with people in the sick house. We're not worth your time. I'm in about as much trouble as I can be. No reason you ought to be tarnished by association. People are gonna talk. The walls talk, is all. We all got sights on each other. Any of us breaks company protocol, boss is gonna hear about it from 6 different mouths. Maybe you don't know this, but there's a real simple reason you don't talk to the plagued. You don't want what we got. Don't. Please. I could get into a lot of trouble. That's kind of you to say, I suppose. But I don't need help. What I need is to understand my own folly. Company always tells us weak spirits lead to weak bodies. If I didn't want to fall sick with plague, maybe I should have worked harder. Maybe I should have taken more pride in my work. I'm glad you see things my way, and not for nothing. But I appreciate you giving me the time of day. I'm feeling a touch faint. If you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a spell.
はいない。なるほど。めっちゃ簡単に進めちゃう。
Merciful law. Is that a marauder's outfit? I don't want you wandering into my shop wearing something you've lifted off a corpse. Please don't touch anything. Your hands are probably crawling with germs. Physical hygiene recapitulates moral hygiene. Cleanliness is next to lawfulness. No, thank you. That's quite all right. I've seen enough body parts in my line of work. I'm Conrad. You will report to me if your hair fails to meet Spacer's Choice aesthetic standards. You will also report to me in the event of your death, whereupon I will clean and prepare your remains for interment. Burial, in the unfortunate event of a fatality. It's what a barber does. We make you presentable. Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions. As broke as pie crust, friend. Bidless, indigent, destitute. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I expect Silas to toss my body into a ditch. Thank you, no. I despise the cereals. Tell Silas I can't afford to pay. And that I fully expect to have my medical rights revoked for this dereliction. With my apologies. Some time ago, I fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings. Not a bad idea. But I'd need some kind of collateral. My pair of lucky clippers! No, that won't do. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give Silas. I'm open to suggestions. Much obliged. What can I do for you? Go ahead. Edgewater has been good to me. I consider myself privileged to work here. I am never wanting for work, not since the plague started. The plague's come at us with a vengeance this year. Lost 6 workers in as many months. I wouldn't call them good workers, mind you. If they were any good, they'd have been treated. Still, it is a shame. Fever, chills, fatigue, aching, vomiting, an excess of phlegm, a tendency towards belly aching. Whatever it may be, I have developed my own palliative. Boiled canid liver and a splash of ethanol. Company policy, friend. We don't have enough medicine to treat all of us, so we treat the best among us. We're a sensible people. What can I do for you? A ship? Dear me. You seem to have lost the ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy. This is what happens when you let your imagination run wild. I don't approve of fantasizing. It's a dreadful habit, corrosive to the mental faculties. You ought to let the vicar take a look inside your head. Vicar Maximilian, our man from the OSI, here to spread the message of scientism like a soothing balm upon a feverish head. Or so you'd expect. You'll find him in our local church, probably neglecting his duties. He doesn't seem to like us much. The vicar has not been with us long, and in his relatively short tenure in Edgewater, gives off the distinct whiff of superiority. Go ahead. What can I do for you? Oh? Am I in the company of a fellow doctor? Experience was my teacher. Experience and... So, you want to be an embalmer, brochures 1 through 5, courtesy of the Spacer's Choice Department of Career Development. What can I do for you? Go ahead. Edgewater has been good to me. I consider myself privileged to work here. I am never wanting... As the good vicar says, the plagues come at... I wouldn't call them good workers, mind you. Company policy from Mr. Thompson's brainchild. Edgewater, I am never wanting for work. I wouldn't call... Company policy... Nature is mine.
Heard something outside the walls today.
Nothing for us outside those walls. You ought to know that. Hey.
ライトみたいな欲しい。暗くて見えねえ。ライトも大事だな。
It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice. And before you ask, you ought to go have a talk with the boss, Reed Thompson. He's up in his tower. Go right ahead. What, you mean Edgewater? That's a peculiar question. This a test? Am I being tested right now? It's, fine and dandy. Couldn't be happier. Wouldn't want to spend my life working anywhere else. Prettiest little town on Terra 2. If loving the place I work makes me crazy, then haul me off for mandatory re-education. I don't get paid for banter. Was there something you needed? Go right ahead. Other than yourself? Definitely the vicar. Don't get me wrong. He seems a decent man, cut from church cloth, knows his scriptures. But there's something about him that bothers me. Like he's not one of us. Sometimes I suspect he doesn't even want to be here. Plague? I don't know anything about a plague. We are the very picture of hot-blooded physical vigor. You have got the wrong idea about me. I've got nothing that needs hiding. Some of us who get sick are liable to exaggerate the conditions of that sickness, but the fact is, if you work hard, you have got no cause to worry. Spacer's Choice is built on love, and like any real love, it is cold and tough when needs must.
medical treatment is commensurate with our value to society. Spacer's Choice will dispense medicine for the indispensable worker. Natural selection at work. It is better than fair. It's company policy. Listen, you mind if we talk about something else? Rambling about company policy gets me feeling all lightheaded. I'd keep no ill intent in her, mind. Just Amelia. Definitely. Word is, they're gonna replace her with an auto mechanic. Plague. I'd take some of us who get sick. Survival of the medical treatment is then the hand. Listen, you mind if we talk about music to my ears?
What do you think you're doing? I don't have time for this.
Work your jaw on some Spacer's Chaw. Music to my ears.
Wonder if the plague's ever gonna pass.
Just keep working. Work fortifies the spirit.
I don't have time for this.
Hey there, Mary. Don't see you round here too often.
Oh, I just came to talk to the vicar is all. None of us are above confessionals.
What have you got to confess? You ain't thinking of deserting, are you?
What? No. And I resent the accusation.
Wasn't nothing but a question. Do excuse me.
I must be on my way. Verity to you.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto, at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town? They who are not satisfied with their work are satisfied with nothing. No? How about, work fortifies the spirit. True exhaustion awaits idle hands. The OSI teaches that the Grand Architect set a perfect system in motion at the beginning of time. Contentment is found by accepting one's role in that grand plan. The Order of Scientific Inquiry, also known as scientism to the layperson. Mock me all you want. I know my beliefs to be true. You don't talk to the Grand Architect. Once the universe was set in motion, it stepped back. It has no concern for us. Fun. It concerns much bigger things than fun. Things like deciphering the secrets of the universe to start. We will eventually decode the plan and all its intricacies. Once we are able to deduce the properties of every particle in the universe and its trajectory, we will know everything. The future, the past, each person's place within the plan, all will be laid out before us, removing struggle and bringing peace. No one will ever need question their path again. Some even believe this ultimate knowledge will unlock mankind's true potential, and we will all become akin to grand architects ourselves, after a fashion. Well, first there's the matter of the secret blood rites and animal sacrifices. I'm kidding. Seriously, though, to truly understand the metaphysics involved takes years of study and contemplation. I've never seen you before, and there's been no paperwork indicating a transfer. Half the time it's wrong, but a new worker without paperwork? Unheard of. Also, you lack the distinctive worker gaze. Usually either a deadening behind the eyes, or in some rare cases, a wild-eyed frenzy, like a trapped animal. Oh, nothing could be further from the truth. I'm simply bemoaning the level of spiritual awareness in this town. Yes, but there are few who hear me in this miserable place. I must double my efforts to elevate my flock. These are good, hard-working people here. Yes, and thank you for pointing it out. It is wrong of me to succumb to distress. This place could be so much more, and I will continue in my quest to make it so. Mechanical tomfoolery is well out of my purview. I suggest you take such matters to Mr. Thompson in the cannery. Oh, and a word of warning. If you're considering wandering around outside the safety of the town, you'd best be cautious. The marauders I met when I ventured outside the walls might agree with you. Bastards snuck up on me while I was dutifully hunting for a banned book in a collector's library. Barely escaped with my life. But you see, one of the reasons I transferred here was to get my hands on that heretical text. If you managed to acquire it for me, I'd pay quite a handsome sum for the book. So you'll consider it? I do appreciate you hearing me out, and, your discretion. It's a handwritten journal, a faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption. It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it. Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here. Any progress on that matter with... Please get it. A religious text deemed heretical by the OSI is an unsafe object at large. Though I understand why a collector would desire to possess such a rare book. Because I'm also a collector of books. Rare things in this colony. Appreciation of the written word outside monthly periodicals is virtually unknown here. Any progress on... Please get it. What would you like to...
Sorry, I'll just be a minute.
You had a minute. Next one comes out of your pay.
Ease off the threats, friend. I'm going.
Boss's orders. We all got quotas to make.
Move along.
Don't make me report you to Mr. Thompson.
Something got you down?
Nothing. Just don't want to fall sick.
Never seen you here before. You a visitor? Welcome. On behalf of the Spacer's Choice family, let me welcome you to, where am I again? Edgewater, Jewel of the Vale. May the law bless our beloved cannery with 100 years of, what's it called? Productivity. That's the one. Yep, that's us. Productive. I am in no condition to do any work. Not so long as my injuries trouble me. Yep. Got my mitt stuck in a rotor wheel. Shredded my wrist up real good. Conrad went and sewed up my hand, but I couldn't do much about the pain. Boss was real generous to me, though. Got myself a 5% discount on Zero G Brew. After the second bottle, the only pain I feel is emotional. Hey, Conrad's a surgeon. Well, he's a barber. That's like surgery, but for your hair. Hey, it's the visitor. Numb to the bone thanks to Zero G Brew. Zero...
You read the latest report?
Only the part that said we ain't making our quotas.
If only McDevitt's folk hadn't abandoned us. Can't...
I don't know you. Uh-huh. The Unreliable, you say? Never heard of any company supply ship with that particular name. I don't know what you're about, but this here's a Spacer's Choice drinking establishment. We're all loyal, hard-working company folk here. You really think so? That's kind of you. I've been trying to keep the floors clean. You got no idea how long it takes to scrub the tiles. Guess I misreckoned you. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to be curt. We just got some problems lately. I can get you a drink if you'd like. Gotta ask you to enjoy your beverage within the premises, though. Can't risk you bringing a drink over to those deserters. You understand. Traitors. The lot of them. Bunch of folks decided they were tired of working and went out into the wilds to fend for their own selves. Town's already struggling to make quotas, even without that band of slackwits abandoning their posts. Bunch of lazy, shiftless rung leeches. Anyway, enough about them. What can I do for you? Do you know? And what makes you think Mr. Thompson wants to talk to you? He's a busy man. You want to talk to Mr. Thompson, try ignoring your duties. He'll summon you up to that great big tower atop the cannery, and you'll get yourself a proper dressing down.
絶対買う。
Go ahead. I don't see how that's any of your business. Will there be anything else? Ugh, is this the start of a joke? If you want me to laugh at your jokes, it's a 3-drink minimum. Most folk forget where they're standing after a few drinks. Seems to me you've got a head start. Anyhow, whatever happens outside the walls is not my business. Only deserters and marauders wander out there, and I cannot tell you which I revile more. My world is these 4 walls, that door, and a row of mugs that need cleaning. Let me make something clear. Spacer's Choice has been real good to me. The town's been real good to me. I start gallivanting around outside the walls, poking around in places I shouldn't be, learning things I've got no right to know. People will talk. Won't ever catch me asking about the world outside. Else the town's gonna say Amelia's gone soft. That Amelia's pondering desertion. I don't want that. And be satisfied with our lot in life. I've said enough. People come here to drink their problems away. If they wanted to face their problems, they'd go see our vicar. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm contractually obligated to recite company slogans to any visitors. Plague got you feeling woozy? Get yourself boozy with Spacer's Choice. Coming right up.
まあこんな風に見れるんだ。すげえな。 枯れなければ大砲台っていいな。
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading brand in frontier justice. The office is writing up promotion. Purchase 3 criminal investigations and the 4th one's free. As a Spacer's Choice constable, I am authorized to grant you legal authority toward apprehending wanted criminals. Know how to carry yourself in a fight? I've got bounties out for these 3 marauders. Cross them off and bring me their fingers. Just 1 per marauder, please. I'll dust off the old fingerprint roller. As long as your questions fall within the acceptable margins of curiosity. His likeness decorates many a wanted poster. Do you have any relevant information about this individual? You are correct. An outstanding bounty has been posted for information pertaining to the whereabouts of Phineas V. Wells. Unfortunately, the arrest of Mr. Wells falls outside my authority. I enforce the company policy of Spacer's Choice in the region of Emerald Vale. Wells is wanted by the board. If you have information related to the location of Phineas V. Wells, you are required to submit that information to your nearest board authority. Something to report? As long as your questions fall. If this is a setup to a joke, you should know I've never found anything amusing in my life. I don't serve Edgewater. Edgewater and the entire region of Emerald Vale serve Spacer's Choice. Spacer's Choice is a wholly owned subsidiary of Universal Defense Logistics, which occupies a seat on the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, also known as the Board. I must admit it bothers me that you don't already know this. Flattery won't get you anywhere with me. The bureaucracy is a noble profession, but not all of us are gifted enough to serve in it.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
Nothing I can do about that.
I've got some time. Oh, I'm an actuary. That means I keep tabs on a worker's living expenses. How much it costs to feed, clothe, shelter, bury, and replace your average human worker. Technically, I'm employed by the Spacer's Choice Department of Human Resources.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
And your rations yet?
Yep.
Spacer's Choice. Music to my ears. It's not music to my ears. Work your jaw. Music to my ear.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never been healthier. Oh, sweet merciful law. A marauder's in my domicile. There a reason you're running around outfitted like one of those monsters? Did Mr. Thompson send you to put the fear in me? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy. You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state? Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. That's why he wants me to pay up. He knows. Sounds like he's already told you. You may as well hear it from me. I'm dying. I'm not long for this world. The date of my expiration is fast approaching. And soon I shall be ushered through the great cannery in the skies. It's plague. Has to be. Silas knows. He knows I got one foot in my grave, and now he wants to charge me for the other one. I'll pay your fees. I don't want any trouble from Silas. But if you could see a way to freelancing for me, I could really use the help. There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to break in, nab that medicine, and bring it back to me. I'll do what I can. You will not find any guards within sight of that old place. Marauders, on the other hand. I have it on good authority. There's a gang of them squatting there. I advise stepping softly. I tried medicating myself with adrenatime. Didn't do much for me, as far as I can tell. Anyway, I can't just buy medicine. Distribution of medicine is strictly prohibited to any workers beneath the acceptable margin of health. Company policy. Tell myself the same thing every morning. You seen those young workers at the cannery? What with their unbent spines and pristine knee joints? I can't compete with that. So you'll do it then? You oblige me with your haste. I think I feel the plague spreading. Oh, Law, it's in my spleen now. I can feel it. Just keep your head down when you're in there. Marauders have taken over. Probably tracking mud all over the archives. I know that, but I got nobody else to turn to. Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone to see the good vicar, but I never did find my courage.
You're making a mistake working for Abernathy. Excuse me. I'm Esther Blaine, Spacer's Choice Actuary. I overheard your talk with Abernathy. I hope you're not thinking about getting him that medicine. Abernathy is a well-known hypochondriac. Anthracillin is wasted on him. You're better off selling it to me instead. All I'm saying is Abernathy's worked in this town longer than some of us been alive. How do I put this gently? He's He's got a lot of cobwebs up in his attic. I probably shouldn't tell you. Don't want you implicated for what I'm trying to do. Alright, here's a summary. A lot of sick people in this town, and we don't have the medicine to treat them all. Can't reach out to corporate without crossing a river of red tape, so I'm reaching out to you. I'm paid better than Abernathy. Whatever he's giving you, I will do you one better. That's all I can ask of you.
A friend of mine died a couple weeks back. Still ain't past it.
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
Heard Marauders got in.
Just between us, Wilson deserted. Lost. Take a night.
それっていうのがあればな。ニューベガスみたいで面白いと思うんだけど。ドラゴンランチュー。
Against regulation. What do you think you're doing? Just keep your fingers to your own self, okay? You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't... Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill. If you're not familiar with board law, you ought to be. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker. Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable. Not half as awful as the bill Eugene left us with. Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. For First of all, that's a horrible thing to say. Secondly, yes, we did. When one of your workers commits a crime, the entire town pays for it. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice. Look around. Edgewater ain't exactly swimming in luxury. We can't afford to pay the body price of a suicide. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's technical.
Don't apologize. Just try using small words for me.
The can's bust open in the oven because she's set to cook saltuna, which isn't what we've got. Mr. Thompson? I think there's someone here to see you.
Focus, Miss Holcomb. You and I are still talking. Let's start over. Walk me through the process. Show me where it's going awry.
Well, sure. It's mostly on account of what we're feeding into the mechanism.
It puts food in cans. We have food, we have cans. Why won't it work like we need?
She's expecting saltuna of a certain size. We're filling the cans with, well, not fish.
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. You were saying, Miss Holcomb.
It's just what Bess needs is a proper refurbish. I can bandage her up and what all, but she's just old. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And I do wish you'd stop referring to our cannery as Bess. Personification of company property is strictly contrary to the Spacer's Choice Code of Conduct. My apologies. I am not in the habit of allowing my guests to witness such a row. Now, what can I do for you? I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I must say, wearing a Marauder's outfit is in very poor taste. I do wish you'd show your uniform a little more respect. Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. My proposition benefits the both of us. Please, hear me out. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way. The geothermal plant was built by our owners, Spacer's Choice. Lit up the whole Vale once upon a time. Most of the Vale is now abandoned. All that power is going to waste. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there. The people living in the botanical labs. They're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership. That reason was me. I asked too much and pushed too hard. But I am ready to make amends if they are willing to return to the fold. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
強いから。
こいつ出た。
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you. And thank you.
出なさすぎだろ。いやだってモンスター今だってあれガチャでもう運極なんて普通にいるんだよ、無課金で。
嘘。
おかしい時代だよ。それでさ、1体もう確定で出ないのはもうおかしいよ。
0. 何%だよ、でも。
クソだよ。
どっちにしろ。
今で言うと真田幸村とか覚えてる？真田幸村とか運極にしてる人いる。
We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk.
一番初期から言っちゃう。
If you could see your way to get... Go ahead. Adelaide was our only flavor specialist. We are... Word up to me, friend. I'd stack our larders with saltuna galore. No other brand of saltuna adds as much vim or vigor to the body's humor. But, and this is something we must keep between the two of us, saltuna is hard to come by. We've scavenged together some organic material from the surrounding environs. Mostly organic, mostly local mushrooms. Some of which possess a texture akin to a well-boiled slab of saltuna. The difference is all but impossible to detect to any but the prissiest of palate. Go ahead. Can we not? Talking about unpleasant things always gets my bile up. If I had enough medicine to treat everyone who fell sick, I would, but I don't. I can't save everyone. So I have to choose. It is not easy for me. And the moment it becomes easy, is the moment I am no longer fit to serve. Spacer's choice is a family, and the survival of the family is more important than the survival of the individual.
ソロモン強いね。バカ強い。朝は持ってる。
やっぱ俺火が何も持ってねえ。火が一番持ってねえ。
ルシファー持ってたっけ？
意外と強いのこれ。
あ、結構古いよねこいつら。
ちょっと火にすまいか。
That I cannot say. There was no moment when the plagues began. Disease always lurked on the fringes of society, waiting to infect the idle and the lethargic. But in the last 10 years, the plagues have become progressively worse and increasingly frequent.
そうなの？
あ、てかね、この時のヒーローアカデミアの時のキャラ全部強い、ほとんど。
今こう神々だもんでさ、ちょっと素材集めないといけないもんでさ。めんどくさいんだよ。
アイテムで進化する。簡単だよ。
Corporate doesn't like us using the word should. It encourages the imagination. I believe plague is a test. It is a test of our loyalty and our fortitude. And it is one we will see through to the end.
いや出なかったっていうか誰？待って、全くランキング外なんだけどこれ全くランキング外、しかも誰かわからない全員。
メイラ誰だ？
知らないのいっぱいいるんだけど。弱い。
Go
俺
ahead.
のガチャマンやっぱ今日ねえよな。
It is my job to keep 2 eyes on my town. I am the steward of this place, and this is my watch post.
いやマジで火欲しい。
あ、なんかすげえ懐かしいの出てきた。
後ろの
懐かしい。
この中でランキング何が強いのか教えて。ちょっと火見せて。火もう一回見せて。さっきのどうやって見る？
上じゃねえ、戻るだ。
戻ってください。戻ってください。
ちょっと待って。
いやどれ見ても弱そうなんだもん。クソ弱そうなんだもん。
I'm trying to remember 25 years, 26. When you get to my age, the years just rush by. You stop counting altogether. I remember looking out this window and seeing the veils spread out from horizon to horizon. We were a sprawling town. We were booming. Times change. People change. But the veil will always be here. Spacer's choice will always be here. Our work won't ever end. I take comfort in that.
さっきのガチャのやつどこだ？
ガチャのやつはあれだよ。これしかない。5しか。
じゃあその下のやつでランキングみたいなのないんだ。
5までしかない。
排出される限定でもさ一覧限定モンスターだからな。
ほう。
待って、下の方に限定キャラいるかもしれない。いねえよ。知らねえキャラだよ全部。いやーこれいやマジでいや火いねえんだよ。軽くとくいや欲しいキャラだったの入れなかった。ちょっと一体一体調べてもらっていいですか？知らないキャラばっかりなんだけど。いや絶対弱い。絶対弱い。大国主とか強そう。もともと重心だし。重心化しかないから。でもヨーヨーなんだよな。
ニーベルンゲンは持ってる。ニーベルンゲンは持ってる。
俺は持ってねえわ。
取得済みだってる。
俺は持ってねえ。そいつ持ってる。
まあクローバーね。
そいつは持
ってる。持ってない。
今から行くんだよ。お前待ちだったんだよ。
言うと思ったよ。
I wish you wouldn't say things like that.
俺マジでどれ欲しい？俺いらないんだけど。ごめん、マジで俺いらないんだけどさ。でもワンちゃんでいいですか？ダリア。
何のクエストに使えるかでも見ていくしかない。
ああそっか。
I expect you wouldn't understand. You don't see the town as I do. When I stand at my window and look out over my town, here's what I see. I see decent, loyal, hard-working people. I see a family. We are all part of the Spacer's Choice family. We are all doing what we were brought into this world to do.
めっちゃ古いの出た。すげえまともなキャラがさ、多分ワンちゃんしかいないと思うんだけど。俺ワンちゃんは知ってる。
This is a Spacer's Choice town. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family here. The company keeps us warm, keeps us fed, keeps us working. Loyalty's got nothing to do with it, friend. This is good old-fashioned gratitude.
いや、俺は決めた。俺ワンちゃんで行くわ。こいつ何？
結構古いやつだね、こいつも。 持ってる
知らない。
持ってる
知らない。
持ってるあれ持ってる
ワンちゃんでいいの？
俺持ってたあいつなんでだマイネスイーパーか
あ、右上のやつは
モンストクローバーでいいかな。
いや、右上のやつやだよ。俺モンストクローバーやだよ。こいついらないよ。
それかこいつかな。こっちの方がまだ使えるかな。
あー、そっちがあんのか。
回復 SS の確か。
あー、次元はダメ。
Something on your mind? Go ahead. That you are not one of us may work to your advantage. Adelaide and her folk loathe the people of Edgewater, you see. I admit the fault was mine. I'm about as diplomatic as a bristling cane is. Scripture tells us we all have our purpose in the world. Our work shows us that purpose. We should not have to move on from it. Yes, we have lost good workers to desertion. We have lost even more to plague. But it is why we must square our shoulders and carry on.
俺はこのおじさんはもういらない。おじさんはもう興味ない。俺このおじさんは。
使えるかこいつ。重力と魔王耐性だ。魔王だもんな。いらねえな。何に使えるのかこいつ。
ここまでモンストで悩んだことないキャラたちだと出てきた。
毘沙門天か。
普通に俺犬選ぶ。
いらねえな。
こっちがよかった。大国主の方が強いかな。ちょっと大国主とさ、ワンちゃんどっちが強いか。
Losing Adelaide was the hardest. She was our only flavor specialist. When she walked away, I knew we were in trouble. Spacer's Choice Saltuna is renowned across the system for its quality flavors and additives. We used to sell citrus-flavored Saltuna in our heyday. Ever since Adelaide left, we have been reduced to selling unflavored and spearmint.
8.5。
じゃあワンちゃんはね、ダリアっていう名前。なんかまた違うサイト行ったの。8かいやでもね、鉄星を見る限りじゃすごいいいクエストなんだよ、割と。じゃあちょっと別の角度でいこう。フェルメールは
誰だ。
今のところもう決まった。ランキング的に言ったら大国主が今一番トップ。フェじゃなくてフェルメール。でも出てるよ、普通に出てる。
絵じゃなくてねっていう話なんだけどね。
見せて。
しょぼい。
8か、これで8か。じゃあこのちょっと名前長いんだけどさ、バーソロミューロバーツ出てるかな。
バーソロの方がいいと思う。
バーソロって出るかも。あ、ボスバーソロミュー
8か。
あんまりよく。じゃあリンツ有名だよね。リンで出てくるかもしれない。あ、出た。あ、それだね。
8。
これラスト。前田なんでだよこれ。なんていうのこれ。前田で出るか。前田で出る。それで感じで。いや、違う。刑事。
刑事か。
いや、決まった。もう決まった。決まりました。大国主でございます。ありがとうございます。大国主でございます。ありがとうございます。いやでもね、本当に友情がクソなんよ。ヨーヨーなんだよ。ヨーヨーってね、これ弱いよ。正直本当に。まあ普通に、まあ俺大国主にするよ。決まりました。俺は決まった。よっしゃ、よかった。
On my way. In a jiff. Yep, be right over. Be right there.
Oh. 進化。
Hey, mister, can we talk? Sorry. Can we talk? Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale.
紫、青、白みたいな感じなんだけど、金、紫、青、白なんだけど、一番初め2回引いたのは紫ばっかりのやつだった。紫で金。
To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. Miss McDevitt? Oh, gosh, no. She was a real important person. A flavorist. Made all the food taste decent. She used to work up in the big office with Mr. Thompson. All I know is she left after her son died. It was a real big to-do. I could hear them both yelling clear from my own place. Can't say as I know. I wasn't there. The sound carried, but not the words. If Mr. Thompson ain't of a mind to tell you his own self, you'd best ask Miss McDevitt, if you can get out to her. I don't know anybody well. I mostly listened to them talk, kept my head down. There was a boy named Thomas who used to follow me around, asking questions about the stuff I fixed. He was real sweet to me. Not any... Life's hard here. Especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is. About if what Mr. Thompson proposes to do is upright, leaving Miss McDevitt's folk to their fate. They're neighbors. Kin. And maybe he can think of something else to try. Something we ain't. He used to go walking outside town. Maybe he found something that'll help. Just an idea. That's all. Books are for rich folk. I wonder what he wants with something like that. Thanks, mister. I just think when you make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways. I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Any progress on that matter we discussed? Oh, Miss Holcomb. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
This here's Vicar DeSoto. He's always offering spiritual counsel to those that need it.
Thank you for the kind assessment, Miss Holcomb. I admit, I've been quite interested to make our outsider's acquaintance. Please get it. Any progress? Please get it. What would you like?
What? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive you to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? That seems well within your expertise.
The way we do it's by cutting off power to the others. The ones who left.
Adelaide McDevitt's encampment. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk. They rejected the order of society and lived beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice? Astute. But I am here, not... Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Not if things are left to stand as they are. They who are not satisfied with their work, selling. No, it is free. Have you? These people need something, anything they can grasp to survive. Delving into the metaphysical minutiae of the grand plan would be nonsense to them, if not worse. My apologies.
レベル上がった。レベル上がった。
でもね、これなんだっけ、ソロモン当たりだよ、よかった。でもさ、ソロモン2体欲しいよな。
マジ？
進化と神化で全然違うじゃん、それ。
ああ、そうだね。
多分神化の方がいい。あれだと思う。さ、シャーク・ホームズ俺キャラクター的には好きなんだけどさ、友情コンボさ、クソなんだよ。壁沿い走ってこう友情が走ってる。真ん中とか当たらない。
ああ。
シュイーンシュイーン。何これ？当たるわけないじゃん。ずっと思ってた。その友情何？ずっと思ってた。行くと思う。俺明日行くと思うから朝来なよって言われた。どう？まあ行くは行くでいいんだけどさ、ごめん、マジで行かないと思う。勝手なあれかもしれないんだけどさ、そもそも今行く気ないじゃん。西の風ずっと吹いてるじゃん。行く気しない。どうなんだろうね。ここまでいなくなると不思議だよ。魚が食べられなくなる時期とかあるのかな。そっか、養殖があるから。
そっか。
養殖でもいっぱいいっぱいになりそうだね。全部が全部養殖になりそう。
いやー、美味しくないな。やだな。
いやでもないよりはいいと思うよ、普通に。しかもさ、別に養殖だからってさ、別にその中でさ育ってるからさ、デミのあれはあるから。ミネラルはあるじゃん。全てが悪いから油があるかどうか新鮮なストレスなっていってる。俺も養殖やりたくない。めちゃくちゃ辛いから知ってる。尋常じゃない辛さだから。朝早いし。
生物を管理するっていうことだからね。しかも全てが商品になるわけだから傷はつけられないし。
お前らには俺が食べる。 俺が食べて何
俺のもの。
欲しかったら金出せ。
金出してんだよ。ブリを安いけどさ。
あれだもん、漁師仲良くなったら魚もらってきてない。買うとかじゃない。
もらう。
買うところもあるけど、買うところに言う人もいるけど、すげえ仲いい人だとさ、
Great work.
持ってきてって言われる。カツオ持ってきて。頼む。海外の人にさ、よく言うよね。いたずらクソ面白いね。ワープで枠外に飛ばす味方をね、やべえ枠来てる走れーっつって味方が回復してるじゃん。回復してちょうどワープを展開ってやって、ちょうどその人の前に行ってワープをちょうどポンってそのブブブブブって後ろに
What the fuck?
クソ面白い。えげつないことするね。クソ面白い。よっしゃー。今ね、俺公開があってサードのアニメーションめっちゃ綺麗だった。思ったんだけどさ、R99ってさ、見やすいサイトのやつと見やすくないサイトのやつ。真ん中のやつは一緒なんだけど、その横についてるかついてないかがあるじゃん。あれによって。